everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Lens. It's been a while since I looked at a free game, and I came across Lens. It was actually introduced to me by Nick, aka Rockley Smile, who plays a bunch of free, student, interesting, artistic games on his channel. And he was like, you should really check this one out. This one's going to be up your alley more than a lot of the games that I cover. And you know what? He's totally right. I downloaded Lens last night. It's free at lensthegame.com. This is a student project, which is why it says for educational use only in the bottom right corner. And it is a first-person puzzle platformer, a little physics-based, but largely not physics-based. And it has its own kind of cool mechanic as well. You know, it's not scale, where you have a scale gun and blow things up to a bigger or smaller size. It's not portal, where you have a portal gun. But you do have, like, a tool that kind of allows you to interact with the environment. Very short game as well, so I'm going to hesitate with how much I am going to show off here. But we are going to start this up. And when I say short game, I legitimately mean that this is maybe a 30 to 40-minute experience for most people. And the puzzles are not really that tricky. They're more kind of just interesting, which is the cool part of the game. So, you know, first-person perspective, as you can obviously see, we're going to be on this boat first, and the game has kind of an amnesia-style mechanic when it comes to the narrative, where you actually use your journal and read text that's on the screen. So he says, "My return. The sea I traverse to reach my secret homeland is an untamable beast. When it's not trying to drown me, it taunts my loneliness with an endless horizon of tranquility. By my calculations, the island will soon be visible, just like a lost memory reclaimed." And we can turn pages with the mouse buttons here. So I actually didn't read this escaping entry. "Everything that has happened since I've escaped the island, these few years away, feel like a lifetime. The outside world is strange and alien. I escaped the calamity." I guess maybe this is invoking bastionness or something. "But now that I am returning, I fear what destruction it has wreaked. Despite my trepidation and guilt, a part of me looks forward to being home. Hope no one reads this. Also, P.S. Miley Cyrus, 8 out of 10. I don't know." Cool. So we can put our journal away and start moving around. Now, it is going to take us a few minutes here to actually get into the gimmick part of the game. And I don't mean gimmick in a negative way. I actually mean it in, you know, just a catch-all phrase to basically describe the kind of interesting mechanic that makes this game novel relative to other games. So we just interacted with the environment, and this opened the door for us and will allow us to come in through here. Control is crouch as usual, and we are just learning the controls. Now, I'm going to skip by this puzzle, and I'm not going to read too much of the narrative because that's something I think you should discover for yourself. But I'm going to go through this puzzle pretty quickly because this is a fairly standard one. You see there are these kind of shapes or characters here. All you have to do is rotate these things until the characters actually line up. That's not the right one. That's the right one. How about this one? We got like a swoop and a cross. It's Osidious the Emphatic. That's not it. That is not it either. It's going to be this very last one over here. And then this one is kind of like a weird number 5 with a T next to it. So T5. That hopefully is just going to be this next one right here. It is. Okay, so this should allow for this door to open. Very, very few of the puzzles in this game are like the one that I just did. This is very much kind of like a one-off. And it's a kind of puzzle mechanic that a lot of people have seen before, so I think they threw it in here to basically just be like, hey, here's how, you know, get into the mood, basically, of learning how to, you know, see and observe your environment. Because you do have to observe your environment very closely in this game to succeed. So this has something kind of like, I'm going to call it a miniature lens here. And what this allows you to do is kind of peer into the alternate dimension, or the second world, I think as the game sometimes calls it. So in the second world, things are very different than they are in the first world. So for example, this door doesn't exist. If I go and look through this miniature lens, you can see that door doesn't exist. So as I walk through here and enter the other world, I can now traverse through this. And this is the mechanic that we're going to have to use in order to succeed. By the way, I want to point out, game is really, really good looking, especially for a free student project. You know, on a technical standpoint, are these like the richest shapes I've ever seen in my entire life? No, but the art direction is really good. The worlds look vastly different, and you know, they have a cool kind of design to them. Let's put it that way. So this is eventually where we need to go. We need to get up here, but first things first, we need to actually get our own lens. So we're going to enter the library here, and I'm trying to remember where we have to go. Probably through here, I believe, and this will allow us to get our the tool that we're going to use to essentially navigate the environment through the entire game. So I'm just going to come in through here, and as our lens expires, don't worry about that stuff for now. That was just kind of, again, showing you how the world works. So I'm going to look at the environment here, and I should be able to platform my way to success. This is, like as mentioned, a puzzle platformer. So there are some situations where you're going to have to platform in order to reach the end. I was really worried about the platforms disappearing there, but it looks like I had a few more seconds. So yeah, platforming is very important in the game, but you also have to solve puzzles in order to, platform successfully as well. Platforming a big part of it. So, we're going to talk to this man here. He's not going to be happy with us. Do you see the corruption that surrounds your apostate? I just had my apostate checked yesterday at the proctologist. The lenses that were stored here tore this world asunder. Acceptable. This one in front of you is all that remains. So this is going to become our lens. There are many like it, but this one is ours. Take it, and with it, mend what has been broken. So we're going to try to stop, re-sunder the world that has been torn asunder. So this is the gimmick that we use to traverse the environment in the game. We press Q, we open up the lens, and then we can see into the alternate world. So, at our periphery, we can see our existing world, the real world, I guess you could say, and by using Q, we can activate the other world. Now, how do you traverse the environment? You might think, hey, I'll just walk on this platform. All you have to do is, it's kind of like Closure, that light and shadow-based game. As long as you can see the platform, you can walk on it. Nope! Sorry, that is not how this works. Instead, what you need to do is you can actually use your lens to pull objects out of the second world into your world so that you can use them to platform. So there I've created those platforms, or pulled them more accurately, from their world into mine, and then I can also send objects from my world into the other world. So by doing that, I was able to finish this off here, and we can probably get that one out of here too, and then platform, and we're done. So good news. Now we have to find some way to open this door, and I have to admit, that puzzle took me the longest time of all of the puzzles that I did in Lens. I was here for like 10 minutes just like teleporting all of this stuff in and out, and then like going into the Lens world and being like, maybe I have to hook up the servers to like these computer wires and this weird machine right here, and then there's this lever over here that maybe I have to pull. Turns out you just walk up to the door and dissolve it. So this is the main mechanic that we're going to use to solve basically every puzzle that we come across in Lens. But I really like how it's... this is the right way. I don't think I have to walk through that lens on the way back. I really like to focus on platforming as opposed to merely puzzling. I will admit that, after you play the game, it is very much the kind of thing that's more of a proof of concept than anything else. It would be really interesting to see this built into a full standalone game that was maybe a little bit more robust. But as is, it's just kind of like a short, almost demo-like experience. But it's really cool. It kind of reminds me of playing Pulse, Pulse was not fully featured, or is not fully featured yet. But even just playing the demo, you're like, this is a cool mechanic that I want to see more of. So we have to get up these stairs, or these ones over here, and then get up to the top. Now, you might be thinking, how do we do that? Maybe we can just jump on here and platform. Sadly, no such luck. I will admit that, because this is physics-based, occasionally you can do some funky stuff. Like, I was able to... the first time I played this, even before I went and got this lens, I was just like, I bet I can jump up this. And, it took me probably 20 or 30 jumps, but I did manage to get up here. But honestly, it's not worth the effort. What we can do instead is just do something very simple. And again, the game is physics-based. There's a physics engine inherent in it. So we can just remove this support here. I'll wait for that shadow to disappear so you can see this more clearly. And then this thing will fall. And then as it falls, it should roll into a position where we can basically use it as a ramp to get up to the next level. Excellent. Okay, so we will now come up through here. This is a very easy puzzle to solve. I think we just remove all the statues. The game is very good about giving you environmental cues. So maybe you're just messing around and you remove a statue, and then you're like, oh, this light turned on. I bet I have to remove both of these statues then, and that'll open the door. And you would be absolutely correct. So by solving these initial puzzles, we have now entered the hub world. And the game's going to start moving real quickly right now, so we'll probably only play one of these hub worlds, and then we'll, leave the rest for you to discover for yourself if you want to play the game. Again, lensthegame.com to download it for yourself. There will be a link in the video description. I encourage you to check it out. I'm just going to hit this button, and this should activate this beacon, and then I should be able to, enter this area over here. Jump into the painting Super Mario 64 style, and this will allow me to enter the world of the canyons. Allow me to take a sip of my coffee while we load in here. So, one of the game's strengths for sure is that there's all these kind of really, really aesthetically cool, interesting environments that are very different from one another, and it moves quickly, which is awesome because, normally maybe you're playing a game like this, you're going to be expecting to be on this like canyon or desert-like level for like 2 hours, and you're going to get bored of it. Not so in Lens. You'll be able to finish this section in like 10 to 15 minutes, and then move on to another kind of cool, artistically designed world, which is very, very, very interesting. So again, to spoil things just a little bit here, I'm not trying to rush through it, but I do know how the puzzles are solved. You can do some more exploration if you want to. You know, you get out of this game what you put in, and I think that's the case with a lot of games that have that similar narrative style with the journal here. If you want to speed through the game, beat the puzzles, and get that sense of accomplishment, by all means, but you can also, you know, load up the journal and get a feel for things as they are going. So for example, let's set the stage for the canyon here. For as long as I can remember, both worlds have used this canyon as a place of experimentation. From these experiments, we learned to take full advantage of the lens. Here we continue to prod, far from society, where no experiments gone awry could harm the more densely populated areas. So, it teaches us, gives us a little hint about what's going on in this world. We know that the lens was like some kind of scientific tool, or scientific, they're using it for scientific purposes, shall we say, but there was also the potential for great disaster to happen if some experiments went awry. You'll learn more about that as time goes on. You get hints about what tore the world asunder. So, this is a very simple puzzle. You can see, you know, we've got 3 red lights, 1 green light. No matter what dimension you're in, green is good, red is bad, apparently. And you can see that there's also all these wires. We can walk over those. There's, as far as I know, like no... Well, you can die, but we're not going to get shocked to death by these. And you can probably figure out that what we need to do is, you know, connect all these wires somehow. And the way you do this is by, you know, popping open your lens. And then you can see, oh, in the other world, there is like an open wire here. And in the other world, there's like a good wire there, and there's another good wire here, and another one here. And as you connect these, you can look back at this thing and be like, okay, we're starting to fill up those green lights. The circuits are being complete, and there's only one more electrically damaged area here, which we can do that with. You can't transfer every object from one world to the other, by the way. So, for example, I can totally transfer this chair, probably this table as well, yep, and drop all the pots on the ground. But I can't transfer like this whole mountain or anything like that, because that would probably break the game. So by doing that, we have entered into another region here, and this door is already open, so we can just, or already unlocked, I guess I should say. So we can just pop this open and get into this next area. And not to read the journal entry, but this is where there was some kind of not magical, like some cataclysmic accident with the lenses. It has a really cool kind of visual effect. It's also distracting the first time you see. And you see, like, kind of your own vision is shattered. It's almost like, you know, the ether itself has been kind of fragmented in front of you. It's really cool to look at. I hope you guys can see that in the video. Also distracting and sometimes a little disconcerting. To spoil it just a little bit, what you need to do here is create a situation where you can platform all the way up to the top. And the way that you do this, I think, is by jumping on this rock that looks... Oh, sorry, we have to transfer it to the real world so we can actually jump on it. So we'll start by jumping up on this bad boy right here. And then we'll use our lens and we'll start pulling some rocks from the second dimension into our own dimension. And we're just going to essentially make a path that we can take all the way up to the top. And if we fall, well, we'll have to start again from the beginning. So I'd rather not do that if at all possible. We're getting pretty close to the top here, but we're going to have to take a... Oh, careful. We're going to take a more roundabout path in order to make it work. I probably shouldn't have put that satellite over, actually, or whatever this thing is. We'll send that back to the ether where it can't hurt us. And then we'll just platform around here. This is very, very representative of the puzzles that you will come across. Sometimes it messes with my brain when I'm like, look down and realize I'm standing on nothing in this alternate world. It takes some getting used to. This game is also definitely guilty of giving me some serious motion sickness. I think it's just something that happens with a lot of people with first-person puzzle games. Or first-person platformers. It happened a ton with Mirror's Edge for me as well. And it's unfortunate. I know a lot of people don't suffer from it, but a lot of people do. So I always like putting a warning in there that, you know, if you've had a lot of caffeine or maybe you're hungry or thirsty or something, you might have a... this might trigger some nausea for you. But, again, it's a short experience, so it's not like you're going to be investing 20 hours in this game, in all likelihood, unless, I don't know, you start speedrunning or something like that. Have I fucked myself here? I don't think so. I should be able to get on these. So you gotta take a sort of roundabout path in order to get to the exit here. Can I make this jump? This is kind of a scary prospect for me. I think I can jump back onto that one that I was on before. Okay, that was kind of scary, but there we go. Made it work. We'll get on this tree branch here and come up there. Okay, so now I think I can platform all the way over. Is there anything else over here that I've missed? Oh, there's tons. Yeah, let's get this stuff into this dimension as well. This puzzle, I'll admit, it's novel, like the first time you do it, but then it's also a little bit tedious. You're like, okay, I get it. Do I really need to, platform all this much just to get to the end? Maybe there was an exit that I could have, or an exit strategy I could have employed before this, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So I think this is the right way to do this, and then we just jump onto this rock, and now we are free to go through this door. And by going through this door, we will have completed the puzzle for the canyon section of the game. Well, we'll be on this elevator first where we'll go down, which I thought was kind of a cool moment because I expected to go up the first time I was on here, but maybe that's just my own perception. But then we'll activate this beacon. By activating this beacon, we will complete one of the 2 sections of the game that we need to complete in order to actually finish the game. So now that this is done, we should be just teleported back to the home world, and we can go to the laboratory area of the game if we so choose. But because this is such a short game and the experience is, definitely best experienced firsthand as opposed to, through a secondary source like me, I would encourage you to absolutely go check out Lens the game for yourself if you like what you see so far. Very interesting puzzles. It's less abstract in its design than it looks. I played games like, was that Cairo? Kairo I played recently, which was just like, I didn't really understand what I was supposed to do, although it was kind of cool and abstract and esoteric. Same with, Bientôt l'été. Apologies for my French accent. This is not like that. Even though it might look like a more abstract and artsy game, it's not to say derisively that it isn't, but the design, especially for the puzzles, is more traditional, more kind of intuitive, if that makes sense. And there is kind of a clear goal for you to accomplish. So, this is probably about 30 to 40% of the game complete. I would encourage you to go check out the rest for yourself, lensthegame.com. There will be a link in the video description below. Play it for yourself. It's free. Very, very good for a student project, and I think this is a cool proof of concept. I always hate saying, it's a proof of concept, because people worked for, months and months on this. But this is something that I wouldn't mind seeing developed into a full-length, full-length is a loaded term, but a longer, more robust game, assuming that the gimmick didn't start to wear thin. I kind of like it, and I think that a lot of you might as well. So again, link in the video description. As always, if you enjoyed the video, I appreciate any support in the form of likes or civil comments telling me what you liked or did not like about the video. It does help out a lot, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more first impressions videos of new and upcoming games. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next time.